Picture this. A homeowner is standing in their living room looking up at a ceiling stain that was not there yesterday. Maybe the storm came through overnight. Maybe water started dripping during dinner. Maybe they woke up and found part of their home damaged, and now they are trying to figure out what happens next. To us, it may be a claim. To them, it is their house. It is their routine being interrupted. It is their family asking questions. It is the uncertainty of not knowing what the insurance company is going to do, how long it will take, or whether anyone is actually paying attention. And then the adjuster shows up. That moment matters. Because whether we like it or not, the adjuster often becomes the face of the entire claims process. For years, this industry has trained adjusters to be efficient. Move the file, document the damage, write the estimate, close the claim, and do not misunderstand me, all of that matters. A claim still has to move, the file still has to be accurate, the estimate still has to be supported. But if all we do is process the file, we miss the bigger responsibility. The customer is usually not thinking about cycle time, severity, claim notes, estimate totals, or pending reports. They are thinking, what happens now? And that is where a lot of claim experiences fall apart. The claims process can become too transactional. We track production. We track closures. We track the numbers because numbers are easy to measure. But those numbers do not always tell us what the customer actually experienced. They do not tell us whether the policyholder understood the process or whether the adjuster explained their role clearly. They do not tell us whether the customer felt informed or ignored, or whether that person was left sitting in the dark, wondering if anyone was still working on their claim. For the adjuster, it may be claim number 12 that week. For the policyholder, it may be the only claim they have ever had. That difference matters. When someone has water in their home, smoke damage in their kitchen, missing shingles on their roof, or a business that cannot operate, they are not just looking for a file number. They are looking for direction. They want to know what happens next. They want to know who is responsible for what. They want to know what they should do, what they should not do, and what the process is supposed to look like. And they want someone to explain it without making them feel stupid for asking. That is where good adjusters separate themselves. A good adjuster is not just a file handler. A good adjuster is a guide. That does not mean you promise coverage or mean you guarantee payment, and it does not mean you tell the policyholder what they want to hear just to make the conversation easier in the moment. That is how you create bigger problems later, and the file will absolutely come back to bite you. Paperwork should not have teeth, but here we are. Being a guide means you understand your role and explain it clearly. When you call the policyholder for the first time, you are setting the tone for the entire claim. You are not just scheduling an inspection. You are giving them their first real impression of how this process is going to feel. There is a big difference between saying, I need to inspect the damage and submit my report, and saying, I am going to inspect the affected areas, document what I find, take photos and measurements, and submit that information for review. I cannot make final coverage decisions today, but I can explain the inspection process and help make sure the file has the information it needs. That second version gives the customer clarity, and clarity reduces anxiety. Most customers do not need you to have every answer on the first call, but they do need to believe you are paying attention. They need to know you are organized. They need to know you are listening. They need to know you are not just trying to get in, get out, and move on to the next claim like they are an obstacle standing between you and lunch. That is why communication is not some extra thing you do if you have time. Communication is part of the claim experience. The first call matters. The inspection matters. The follow-up matters. Even a simple update matters. If there is no update yet, sometimes that is still worth saying. A quick message like, I do not have a new update yet, but your file is still being reviewed, can keep a customer from feeling abandoned. Because silence creates stories. And when people are stressed, they usually fill in the blanks with the worst possible version. That is not because they are bad people. That is because their home is damaged. They are confused and nobody has told them what is going on. Good communication does not mean you spend an hour on every phone call. It means you are intentional. It means you explain the process in plain language. It means you return calls. It means you document conversations. It means you do not overpromise. The best adjusters I know are not just good inspectors. They are good communicators. They can walk into a stressful situation, stay calm, explain their role, gather the information, and leave the policyholder feeling like someone competent showed up. That matters. Now, technology can help with this. Photo upload tools can help, self-service portals can help, automated updates can help, scheduling tools can help. Anything that removes friction from the process can be useful. But technology should support the human side of the claim, not replace it. If the customer can upload photos, great. If they can check status online, great. If they can schedule an inspection without 10 phone calls, even better. That is progress. And for once technology has done something besides ask us to reset a password. But none of that replaces the need for a professional adjuster who knows how to communicate. People do not trust an app. They trust the person who helps them understand what is happening when their home is damaged, and the process feels overwhelming. So use the tools, just do not hide behind them. Because a better claim experience is not just nice, it is good business. When a customer feels informed, they are less anxious. When they are less anxious, they usually call less. When they understand the process, they are less likely to assume nothing is happening. When they trust the adjuster, the claim usually moves with less friction. That does not mean every customer will be happy. It does not mean every claim will be easy. It does not mean you can avoid every complaint. Claims are still claims. They come preloaded with stress, confusion, and occasionally someone's cousin who knows insurance because he had a roof replaced one time and now apparently chairs the Department of Coverage opinions, but a better experience helps everyone. It helps the customer, it helps the adjuster, it helps the carrier, it helps the file, and it helps build the kind of trust this industry talks about a lot, but does not always earn. For adjusters, this also changes the way you look at the job. You are not just closing files. You are helping people through a process they probably did not ask to be in. You are documenting damage. You are explaining next steps. You are protecting the file. You are representing the carrier or firm. And whether you realize it or not, you are building or damaging trust with every conversation. For too long, this industry has focused almost entirely on the what of claims. What is damaged? What does it cost? What is covered? What is the estimate? What is the closure date? Of course, those questions matter, but we also need to pay attention to the how. How did we communicate? How did we set expectations? How did we make the policyholder feel during the process? Did we reduce confusion or did we add to it? Did we build trust or did we just move the file? That is the difference between handling a claim and designing an experience. So here is the challenge. On your next claim, do not just think about what needs to be inspected. Think about what the customer is experiencing. Explain your role. Set expectations, communicate clearly, document properly, follow through. That is how you become more than a file handler. That is how you become the adjuster people trust. Now get to work. If this was helpful, make sure you like and subscribe for more real-world adjuster training. And let me know in the comments. What is one thing adjusters can do better to improve the customer experience during a claim?